Hi everyone, welcome to One Stop Mathematical Solution. Today we are going to solve CSIR NET Mathematics June 2013 question paper. In this video, we have only dealt with the linear algebra part. First question, question 37. Let A is equal to first row 1, 3, 5, A 13. Second row 0, 1, 7, 9, B. Third row 0, 0, 1, 11, 15. Where A, B element of R, choose the correct statement. So we have given a matrix here. We have to find which of the following statement is satisfied by this matrix. So first of all, we'll look into the concept used in this question. So we know rank of the matrix is equal to number of linearly independent rows or column in the row reduced echelon form of the matrix. And the homogeneous system Ax equal to 0 always have a solution. Either it will be a unique solution or an infinite solution. If rank of A is equal to number of variables, then it will be a unique solution. And if rank of A is less than number of variables, then it will be a infinite solution. Now we'll move on to the question. So we have given this matrix here. The matrix is already in row reduced echelon form. So we'll calculate the number of linearly independent rows. Here there are 3 linearly independent rows. Therefore rank of A is 3. Therefore the number of non-zero linearly independent columns should also be 3. But here there are 5 columns. So all the 5 columns will be linearly dependent. And for the homogeneous system Ax equal to 0, where A is a 3 cross 5 matrix, so X should be a 5 cross 1 matrix, because then only we can multiply that both matrix. So here the rank of A is less than number of variables, because rank of A is 3 and number of variables 5, so 3 is less than 5. So by this concept we got this homogeneous system has infinite number of solutions. Now we'll check the correct options of this question. So first option is asking whether there exist values of A and B for which the columns of A are linearly independent. But we got the columns of A are linearly dependent for every values of A and B. So the first option is wrong. Second one, there exist values of A and B for which Ax equal to 0 has X equal to 0 as the only solution. But we got for the homogeneous system infinite number of solutions for any values of A and B. So the second one is also wrong. Third one is for all values of B, the rows of A span a 3-dimensional subspace of R5. We got rank of A as 3, so essentially the rows of A spans a 3-dimensional subspace. So option 3 is correct. Option 4 is there exist values of A and B for which rank of A is 2. But we got for any value of A and B, rank of A is 3. So the correct option is only 3. Next question 53. Consider R cube with standard inner product. Let W be the subspace of R3 spanned by 1, 0, minus 1. Which of the following is basis for the orthogonal complement of W? So we have given a subspace here. We have to find the basis for its orthogonal complement. So first of all, we look into the concepts used in the question. We know basis of a vector space means the set should be linearly independent set as well as it should span the whole vector space. So if we are given a set of vectors v1, v2, etc. up to vn, it is linearly independent if c1 v1 plus c2 v2 etc. up to cn vn equal to 0 implies ci equal to 0 for every I. That is coefficient should be equal to 0 for every I. And if W is a subspace of Rn, then the orthogonal complement of W is denoted by this notation, which is equal to set of all W in W such that inner product W comma U is equal to 0 for every U in W. That is orthogonal complement contains all those orthogonal vectors of W. So now we'll move on to the question. So in the question they have given W is spanned by vector 1, 0, minus 1. So I'm writing W is equal to span of 1, 0, minus 1. So we have to check which of the options form the basis for orthogonal complements of W. So basis means it should be a linearly independent set as well as should span the orthogonal complement of W. So first of all, we'll check whether they are linearly independent. So first option I am taking, first option is set of all 1 0 1 and 0 1 0. To check linearly independent condition, I am using this concept. So C1 into 1 0 1 plus C2 into 0 1 0 is equal to 0 0 0. So when we add this and equate to 0, I am getting C1 equal to 0 as well as C2 equal to 0. So both the coefficients are 0. So this implies this is a linearly independent set. To check whether the set spans W orthogonal, you are checking that inner product with respect to W. If it becomes 0, then it spans. If it does not become 0, it does not spans W orthogonal. So I am taking inner product 1 0 1 with W. 1 0 minus 1. So to take inner product, we are multiplying the corresponding elements and taking its sum. So 1 into 1 plus 0 into 0 plus 1 into minus 1. So when we take its sum, I am getting 0. Similarly, do it for the second vector. So inner product 0 1 comma 0 comma 1 0 minus 1. So take its inner product 0 into 1 plus 1 into 0 into minus 1. When we take its value, it is equal to 0. So for both the vectors, we are getting inner product is 0 with respect to the vector 1 0 minus 1. So this set forms a basis for the orthogonal complement of W. Now I am going to show the second option, that is 1 2 1 and 0 1 1. So similar to above, this is also becoming a linearly independent set. Now we'll check whether it spans the orthogonal complement. For that, we'll take the inner product with respect to this W vector. So 1 2 1 comma 1 0 minus 1. So the inner product value is becoming 0 4 1 2 1. Now we'll check for 0 1 1. So when we check for that, I am not getting the 0 value. So this implies this does not spans the orthogonal complement. So this cannot become a basis for the orthogonal complement. So now we'll look into the options now. So we got the option 1 as the correct one. You guys have to check for the third and fourth option. If you check the third and fourth, these two are not linearly independent set. So it does not form the basis for this orthogonal complement. Next question, question 55. A linear transformation T rotates each vector in R square clockwise through 90 degree. The matrix T related to standard ordered basis 1 0 0 1 is. So we have given a linear transformation which is defined by this. Then we have to find its matrix representation with respect to this standard basis. So first of all, we will look into the concepts used in the question. So we know a linear transformation T which rotates each vector in R square anti-clockwise through theta degree is given by this formula. T of xy is equal to x cos theta minus y sin theta, comma x sin theta plus y cos theta. If it is rotated through clockwise direction through theta degree, then we replace all thetas by minus theta. So now we'll move on to the question. So in the question, they have asked a linear transformation T that rotates each vector in R square clockwise through 90 degree. So they have asked clockwise. So we'll replace theta by minus 90. So T of xy is equal to x cos minus 90 minus y sin minus 90, comma x sin minus 90 plus y cos minus 90. We know that cos of minus theta is cos theta and sin of minus theta is minus sin theta. So when we apply this, we'll get x cos 90 plus y sin 90 minus x sin 90 plus y cos 90. So we know the value of cos 90 is 0 and value of sin 90 is 1. Substitute that. So we'll get T of xy is equal to y comma minus x. Now we'll find the value of 1 0 under this linear transformation, that is T of 1 0. So that is equal to, use this transformation, so we'll get equal to 0 comma minus 1. Now write this vector as the linear combination of the standard basis. So we'll get this is equal to 0 into 1 0 plus minus 1 into 0 1. Similarly, take the value of 0 1 under this transformation. That is, t of 0 1 is equal to, use this equation, equal to 1 comma 0. Write this vector as a linear combination of the standard basis given. So this is equal to 1 into 1 0 plus 0 into 0 1. Now we'll write the matrix representation of t. For that we'll write first column is the coefficients of 0 1. First column is the coefficient of 1 0 and second column is the coefficient of 0 1. So we'll get 0, then 1, then minus 1, 0. So this is the matrix representation of t. So now we'll look into the correct option. So the correct option is B, that is second one. Next question 64. Let S denote the set of all primes P such that the following matrix is invertible when considered as matrix with entries in Z by PZ. The matrix is given by A is equal to 1 2 0 0 3 minus 1 minus 2 0 2. Which of the following are true? So we have given a matrix here. Based on this, the set is defined. The set contains all primes such that the matrix is invertible whenever the entries are coming from Z by PZ. Then we have to find which of the following options correctly state the elements of S. So we'll move on to the question now. So A is given to be this matrix. So find its determinant. So I found out the determinant to be equal to 10. Then find the divisors of this number, that is divisor of 10, that is equal to 1, 2, 5, 10. So this implies in Z1, Z2, Z5, Z10, the determinant value is equal to 0 because when we take 10 modulo 10, we are getting 0. 10 modulo 5, 0. So like that, we found the determinant to be 0 in this P values. So given S is equal to prime such that A is invertible where the entries are coming from Z by PZ. We know Z by PZ is isomorphic to ZP. So S contain all primes such that A is invertible where the entries are coming from ZP. But in this value, that is Z1, Z2, Z5. So we are taking prime numbers, so we can eliminate Z10 here. So Z1, Z2, Z5, the matrix is becoming non-invertible. So other than these prime numbers, all the prime numbers comes in S. Therefore, S contains primes other than 1 to 5. So now we'll check the correct options. So the first one is stating S contain all prime numbers. So this is not correct because S only contain prime numbers other than 1 to 5. Second, S contain all prime numbers greater than 10. This is correct because S contains only primes except 1 to 5. S contain all prime numbers other than 2, 5. So this is also correct. S contain all odd prime numbers. So odd prime numbers means 1, 3, 5. So the element 5 is coming. So S does not contain the element 5. So this is also false. So the correct options are 2 and 3. Next question, question 65. Let A belongs to M10 of C, the vector space of 10 cross 10 matrices with entries in C. Let WA be the subspace of M10 of C spanned by set of all AN such that n greater than or equal to 0. Choose the correct statement. So we have given a vector space of 10 cross 10 matrices and the subspace is given which is spanned by this set. Then we have to find which of the following correctly state its dimension. So first of all, we'll look into the concepts used in the question. We know for an n by n matrix, characteristic equation is given to be equal to x power n minus s1 x power n minus 1 plus s2 x power n minus 2 plus etc. plus minus 1 whole power n sn, where sk is the sum of all principal minors of order k. Essentially, then S1 is equal to trace of the matrix, and Sn is called the determinant of the matrix. And the Cayley-Hamilton theorem states that every square matrix satisfies this characteristic polynomial. Now we'll move on to the question now. So we have given the vector space of 10 cross 10 matrices and WA is a subspace of that. So we'll write this characteristic equation by using this formula. So that is equal to x power 10 minus s1 x power 9 plus s2 x power 8 plus etc. up to minus 1 whole power 10 s10. We know by Cayley-Hamilton theorem every square matrix satisfies this characteristic polynomial. Therefore, a power 10 minus s1 a power 9 plus s2 a power 8 plus etc. minus 1 whole power 10 s10 I is equal to 0. From this I can write a power 10 is equal to s1 a power 9 minus s2 a power 8 plus etc. up to minus 1 whole power 11 s10 I. So we know that from this A10 is a linear combination of a power 9, a power 8, a power 10 etc. up to AI. Similarly, if you multiply this equation by a, we'll get a power 11 is equal to s1 a power 10 minus s2 a power 9 plus etc. up to minus 1 whole power 11 s11a. Now we'll substitute a power 10 and rearrange so that we'll get the coefficient of a power 9, a power 8, a power a, then I. So this implies a power 11 is a linear combination of a power 9, a power 8, etc. up to a, comma I. So we have given WA is a span of set of all AN such that n greater than or equal to 0. That is, this is equal to span of A1, A2, etc. up to A10, A11, A12, etc. up to it is going to infinity. So this implies, okay, now we know A power 10 is a linear combination of the preceding elements A9, A8, etc. up to AI. Similarly, A11 is also linear combination of A9, A8, AI. Similarly, we can find A power 11 is a linear combination of A power 9, A8, etc. Therefore, WA is equal to span of A9, A8, etc. up to I. So, if all these 10 elements are linearly independent, then the dimension of WA is 10. If some of the elements are not linearly independent, the dimension of WA will be less than 10. So therefore, for any A, dimension of WA will be always less than or equal to 10. So now we'll look into the correct option. First option is for any A, dimension WA is less than or equal to 10. That is correct. We got it already. Second is for any A, dimension WA is less than 10. But we cannot say it is always less than 10. It can be equal to 10 also. So this is wrong answer. For some A, 10 less than dimension WA less than 100. But this is wrong because we always get dimension WA is less than or equal to 10. Similarly, 4 is also wrong. So the correct option is only 1. Next question, question 66. Let A be a complex 3 cross 3 matrix with A cube is equal to minus 1. Which of the following are correct? So we have given a complex matrix here which satisfies this equation. Then we have to find which of the following correctly states this property. So first of all, we'll look into the concept used in the question. We know roots of the characteristic equation is called the eigenvalues, and determinant is equal to product of eigenvalues. And if the eigenvalues are distinct over C, then it is diagonalizable over C. And if A element of Mn of C, then it is always triangularizable over C. And we know for any n by n matrix, characteristic equation can be written as x power n minus s1 x power n minus 1 plus s2 x power n minus 2 plus etc. up to plus minus 1 whole power n sn, where sk is the sum of all principal minors of order k. Note that s1 is a trace of the matrix and sn is the determinant of the matrix. And also we know that for diagonal matrix, eigenvalues are the diagonal elements. It is also true for upper triangular matrix and lower triangular matrix. So now we'll move on to the question. So in the question it is given a cube is equal to minus 1. So if we replace a by x, we'll get the characteristic equation. So x cube equal to minus 1. So this is the characteristic equation. I'm taking this 1 to this side. So we'll get x cube plus 1 is equal to 0. We know x cube plus 1 can be split into two terms like x plus 1 into x square minus 1 minus x plus 1. From this we will get x plus 1 equal to 0 and x square minus x plus 1 is equal to 0. So x plus 1 equal to 0 implies x equal to minus 1. So now we will find this x square minus x plus 0 equal to 1's value. So I am using this root for finding the quadratic equation, that is if ax plus ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is a quadratic equation, then the roots of the equation is given by x equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac. So when we use that and simplify, we'll get x is equal to 1 plus or minus root 3 I by 2. So we got the eigenvalues as minus 1, 1 plus or minus root 3 I by 2. We know determinant is equal to product of eigenvalues. There is no zero value here. Essentially it will be non-zero. Therefore we got distinct eigenvalues over C because we are getting here complex values. Hence A is diagonalizable over C. Also note that A belongs to M10 of C and is always triangulizable over C. Note that the eigenvalues need not be distinct for every case. Consider now here the characteristic equation that we found, x cube plus 1 equal to 0. Now here if you compare this equation with the general n by n matrix characteristic equation, we get trace is equal to 0 and determinant equal to minus 1. So I am finding such a matrix so that trace is equal to 0 and determinant minus 1. So I found that matrix. Here the eigenvalues are not distinct because the eigenvalues are the diagonal elements for the diagonal matrix. So it is not necessary that if a cube equal to minus 1, the eigenvalues are distinct. So now we'll look into the correct options now. So we got A is diagonalizable over C, A is triangulizable and determinant A is non-zero. So the options 2, 3, 4 are correct. Next question, question 67. Consider the quadratic forms P and Q given by Q of x, y, z, w is equal to x square plus y square plus z square plus b w square, and P of x, y, z, w is equal to x square plus y square plus c z w. Which of the following are true? So we are given two quadratic forms here. We have to find which of the following are correctly satisfied by them. So first of all, we'll look into the concepts used in the question. So we know quadratic forms are equivalent over C if both have same order and same rank. Quadratic forms are equivalent over R if both have same order, same rank, plus it should have same number of positive as well as negative eigenvalues. For diagonal matrix, upper triangular matrix, lower triangular matrix, eigenvalues are the diagonal elements. So now we'll move on to the question now. So we have given Q of x, y, z, w is equal to x square plus y square plus z square plus b w square. So we'll write its matrix. So we know the diagonal elements are the coefficient of x square, coefficient of y square, coefficient of z square, coefficient of w square. So we'll write that. So we'll get this matrix. So we know for diagonal matrix, the diagonal elements are eigenvalues. So eigenvalue is equal to 1, 1, 1, b. So we know this is a 4 by 4 matrix. So Q has order 4 and rank is 4 if B is non-zero. And Q has 4 positive eigenvalues if B is positive. And Q has 3 positive eigenvalues and 1 negative eigenvalues if B is negative. Similarly, we'll find it for the quadratic form P, and P of x, y, z, w is given to be x square plus y square plus cw. So we'll write its matrix. We know the diagonal elements are the coefficient of x square, y square, z square, w square respectively. So we'll write 1, 1, 0, 0. And we have to write the coefficient of z, w. So ZW is coming in here and here, so we are writing it's half the value, so C by 2, C by 2. To find the eigenvalue, we'll divide this as blocks. So this is one block and this is second block. So for this block the eigenvalue is a 1 1. For the second block the eigenvalue is like lambda square minus trace 0 plus determinant, that is minus C square by 4. So from that, when we solve this, lambda square is equal to C square by 4. We'll get lambda is equal to plus or minus C by 2. So therefore the eigenvalues of the whole matrix is 1 1 C by 2 minus C by 2. So this is a 4 by 4 matrix. Therefore P has order 4 and rank is 4 if C is non-zero, and if C is 0, note that the rank becomes 2. And P has 3 positive eigenvalues and 1 negative eigenvalues if C is positive or C is negative. So now we'll move on to check the correct options. So first option is P and Q are equivalent over Z if B and C are non-zero complex numbers. So it is essentially correct because P and Q are equivalent over C if both the metrics have same order and same rank if B and C are non-zero. So we got Q has order 4, rank 4 if B is non-zero. P has order 4, rank 4 if C is non-zero. So first one is essentially correct option. So first one is correct. Second is P and Q are equivalent over R if B and C are non-zero real numbers. So for equivalent over R should have same order, same rank and same number of positive as well as negative eigenvalues. So if B and C are non-zero, and if I take B to be positive, I'll get Q has positive 4 eigenvalues, but P has 3 positive eigenvalues only. So it implies P and Q are not equivalent over R if B and C are non-zero real numbers. So second one is wrong. P and Q are equivalent over R if B and C are non-zero real numbers. Along with it, B is negative. So we'll check that. So if B is negative, we are getting Q has 3 positive eigenvalues and 1 negative eigenvalue similar to that of P. So this implies P and Q are equivalent over R if B and C are non-zero real numbers with B negative. Now we'll check for P and Q are not equivalent to R if C equal to 0. So if C equal to 0, P has rank 2. But for B non-zero, Q has rank 4. So the ranks are not equal. So this implies P and Q are not equivalent over R if C is equal to 0. So the correct options are 1, 3 and 4.